a nice, more mellow session than the first one, right, Steve? Whew. Yeah. We gotta take a breather. No. So anyway, she's awesome. You're gonna love it. So here's Corinne. And I'm videotaping, so in case you wanted the first session, it was awesome. Let's get started. Good morning, everybody. Let's kick it up. Have some fun. Are you ready? Wake you up a little bit, everybody? Thank you for trying. Everybody, I'm Corinne Hoisington. I'm one of you. I teach at a community college in Lynchburg, Virginia, y'all. Okay? Our y'all is your aloha. How's that sound, okay? Works for anything, all is well. Hey, guys, I want to thank Jessica for having me today. I write textbooks for Cengage Learning, but this isn't a sales spiel. I'm just going to share with you a lot of cool information of what's happening with the future of jobs today. And it's really kind of crazy interesting. Hey, check out, I write some Microsoft Office 2019 and Outlook 2019. For those in that field, I help with the Shelley Cashman series. So if you've heard of that book before. Guys, what I'm most proud of, and comes into interest in this presentation, is that I'm the mother of 6. This is my family. I have 4 sons, 2 daughters, and the big kid on the right would be my husband. So the most successful moment in my life is to say this now. None of my children are living in my basement after college graduation. Yeah? Woohoo! In fact, they're making me these beautiful, beautiful grandchildren. So I now have 4 grandsons and 1 little granddaughter who's rocking those grandsons' world, I assure you. Let's start here. You know, we're going to be talking about where jobs are going and maybe how to make sure women are equally represented in all the fields that are hiring right now. And part of this is, in this path to employability, do you know that technology can actually mess you up? So what do you mean? 85% of employers today actually Google you to find out all about you. Now, today with technology, you know students could download an app called Snapchat? Take a picture, share it with someone they supposedly love, their phone could be stolen, and that picture could go viral. So I want to remind you, as we talk about technology today, that what you put out there is permanent. It doesn't go away. It does not disappear. And let's see what happens 20 years from now.
What's the coffee?
Do you get my point? Let's remind the students at all times, technology can help your career, but it can also stifle it if we do it incorrectly. So let's kind of dig in. Why are we having some issues? There's low unemployment out there. Why are we having trouble getting really good paid jobs? There's a lot of underemployment out there. In other words, just because you find a job doesn't mean it could support your family one day. Now let me start with this. Everyone, we want our students to be inventors. We want them to be the next round. Everyone, tell me a famous inventor that you might have learned about in school. Everybody shout something out.
Thomas Edison.
Thomas Edison, very good. What else? Benjamin Franklin.
No, I just said the same thing.
Yeah. Maybe Nikola Tesla? So let's find out what's going on there. Let's listen up.
My favorite subject in school is science because you can invent all different kinds of cool things and there's no limit what you can do.
One inventor is Benjamin Franklin.
Good guys.
Leonardo da Vinci, Thomas
Edison.
Very good.
Albert Einstein, Nikola Tesla,
Alexander Bell Graham.
Marie Curie. Everyone always gets Marie Curie, but that's it.
Even the
these young ladies, we often find that in elementary school, if you ask almost every one of them, they usually say something with STEM. They've kind of been heard that there's science jobs, technology, engineering, mathematics, all these great jobs. But by the time they reach high school, they have changed their mind. Let's talk about why and what's out there for them. Now, it starts young. We want to make sure that, we all have seen the Barbie doll, right, which is an impossible goal. And I like that we're starting to see better role models like good start, but it's going to need more than this. So, what's happening out there? Well, Oprah Winfrey recently said a statement that got me started thinking. She said, as you become more clear about who you are, you'll be better able to decide what is best for you the first time around. You see, what do you mean? We have tons of students who go through our community colleges thinking they want to go into XYZ field, can't find a job, and then have to start all over again. Now, when I was in college, the average, now you're not going to know how old I am, the average year was less than $2,000 worth of tuition. Now, the average university today is now $27,400 for a public university. So if you're lucky, it's right. And that's not room and board. So what we were finding in the state of Virginia, and I looked it up, very similar here, we were finding students who would go into the nursing program as freshmen at a community college. 68% of them already had a degree in something else, like a 4-year degree. Some of them had masters, some of them had PhDs. Why would you go through all of that program and start again as a freshman in a nursing class? Help me out. Couldn't find a job. You say, well, how big is the number? Let me show you something. According to ADECO, which is a job placement center, 60% of college graduates could not find a full-time job in their chosen profession as of 2019. What? No, the unemployment is low, Corinne. So, but underemployment is high, like crazy high. In other words, people can't make their bills. There's no way, especially on the islands, for anyone on minimum wage to support yourselves. Just no way. So what's happening out there? Well, jobs are changing. And I mean like crazy quick. Let me kind of show you what I mean. Do you know, on the main island, do you know it used to take 85 people's jobs for 28 days to produce a car? So they were in manufacturing. And now, manufacturing hasn't just simply moved to a different country. We actually have more manufacturing going on in the mainland than ever before, but not by humans. Nowadays, this is how they make a car. I don't even know if the lights are turned on. There's only usually one human being besides the robotic team who turns it on with the key at the end. This is what happened. How many hours a day do these robots work? Help me out. 24. Well, they work on their birthday.
Yes.
Right? So, this is how they make these. And let's see how fast they create a car. The only jobs there are really the robotic team that are very highly skilled. How often do they make a car? Wow. There is now a website out there if you want to jot it down. It's called Replaced by Robot. Look at that site at the top. You can type in any job and it will tell you what percentage chance that your job will be replaced in the next couple decades. And there are a lot of them that are about to be replaced. I want you to imagine you're a college student, and you're like, okay, this class is kind of hard. Maybe we should be talking more about not only our content, but what job does this lead to? I walked into a young lady recently. She was actually from Iowa, and I asked her as a senior, I said, what do you want to be when you grow up? She said, I want to go into marine biology. I said, okay. I said, where will you be moving? She said, no, I love Iowa. I said, baby, do you understand the dolphins will not come to you? I mean, it's not even realistic. So what's going on out there? You know, one robot now replaces 6 manufacturing jobs. Only 13% of manufacturing jobs actually moved overseas. And by the way, some of those were even robotics. So they're not coming back. What else? No, there are new high-skilled jobs, like this one, Organova. They believe that within just a few years, they'll be able to print arteries for our living body. Have a little bit more of that span, we're good, okay? We can print them out. Within 10 years, hearts and livers. Wow, enjoy a little bit of something else. So our world's changing. We have this new sharing economy. You know how I got to the convention center this morning? Uber. I very often stay in an Airbnb. We don't own anything anymore. How we have jobs has totally changed. So our sense of privacy. How many you know you can just type in your name and they can find out where you live, everything about you. It's just so simple. Now, if you live in a cave with no power, you're still good. Otherwise, it's out there. We see this everywhere, yeah? Our jobs are changing. I recently spoke on an oil rig off the coast. And I'm out on the oil rig, and I'm speaking, and I noticed there's no one working it. I said, oh, is this one not working right now? I said, no, we're pumping, tens of thousands of gallons of crude each day. I said, how? They said, oh, no, there's no oil workers anymore. It's all robotics. I'm like, oh, my goodness. In 1955, 80% of jobs were unskilled. Think about what your parents and grandparents did. I mean, they learned skills on the job that they needed to know. You didn't need all this education. But by 2015, now 80% of jobs are skilled. And they don't want to train you when they get there. They want you coming in ready to rock. They want you to be productive. Now, the largest sector in our country today, well, last year is the last statistics we have, 13% of all jobs in our country, the biggest sector is called retail. How's retail doing in 2019? Amazon. Yeah, Amazon. How's Toys R Us? What? Payless last week? Payless shoes, gone? Kmart? What? Sears? All of them. Now, you say, well, people are buying off Amazon. Yes, and there are starting to set up Amazon ghost stores. There's now one opening in LA, there's one in San Francisco, one in Seattle, and I understand very soon in Honolulu. Let me show you.
4 years ago, we started to wonder, what would shopping look like if you could walk into a store, grab what you want, and just go?
We used to call it shoplifting.
We use machine learning, computer vision, and AI into the very fabric of a store, so you never have to wait in line. No lines, no checkouts, no registers. Welcome to Amazon Go.
And Amazon bought Whole Foods as well. Do you see a bigger picture?
And put away your phone and start shopping. It's really that simple.
Show you how it works.
Take whatever you like. Anything you pick up is automatically added to your virtual cart.
Right off your app.
If you change your mind
Ooh,
about that,
cupcake.
just put it back. Our technology will update your virtual cart automatically.
Yes! And what else? Well, the second largest sector in our country, as of last year, was something called delivery. Do you know the average truck driver makes $68,000 a year and can legally drive 10 hours a day? You say, well, that's not going to change.
The self-driving tech arm of Alphabet is setting up shop in Atlanta to work on its autonomous commercial trucks. The
There are now 200 trucks in Atlanta and in Phoenix that have been driving 24 hours a day since October. No driver. No one's talking about it because they don't even know it's happening. But can you imagine going down the highway, looking up? I think I'd freak out a little bit, okay?
Do they still beat your horn if you do this?
I don't think so. Keep trying. So you say, well, but why would like a company like Walmart do this? They don't have to pay the driver $68,000 per year. And I looked it up. In the mainland last year, 17,000 people died because of an 18-wheeler accident. That's just not okay. You say this might not be perfect, but I bet the computer won't text or drink and drive. I want to say though, most drivers do a very nice job. They're very responsible. What else is happening?
Oh, it's trucking.
Well, we also have farming. Huge, right?
It can be used to complete tasks which are not yet
So
suitable.
yeah, okay, Corinne, that's a tractor.
And then,
Watch.
when the operator's finished his task, it becomes an autonomous tractor. With Cengage Industrial's latest autonomous technology
Now,
concept, the
these
tractor
are
is able to
mostly
make
being
its way
rented.
to the field.
There are 15,000 for rent in the States,
Before it starts to
and they
work
kind of
on
work
its own.
just way north through the growth
The
season.
modern technology has improved the lives of
How many hours a day?
and farm workers. But it
Now, I'm not going to dig into some boring graph, but we've got to know the numbers here. Let's face it, jobs are about supply and demand. Very simple. So what's the most popular major, and are there jobs for it? And please, 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 I am not picking on any particular field. I just want to look at the pure numbers. Let's see what they said. Everybody, look at this huge blue bar. Across the United States, the most popular college undergraduate degree by far is a realm called social science. Look at that big blue bar. Very, very popular. What are social sciences? Help me dig into that. Yeah, psychology, sociology, super interesting, right? Hey, look at the yellow. These are the ones getting their master's degree in the social sciences, green is PhD. Super interesting, but there is a wee little problem. Let me show you. Everybody look at this wee little brown line. That's the number of jobs available in the field at this time. I mean, I don't have to be a mathematician to realize, and I'm not saying there are no jobs. Please don't get me wrong. I am not saying there are no jobs. I am just saying supply, demand. So now you kind of understand why 60% of college graduates cannot find jobs in their path of employability. Because they just aren't there. For every 100 psychology majors with an undergraduate degree, there's only one job opening paying $9.34. For every 38 students, for every one student who graduates with any kind of IT degree, there are 38 openings. They start in the six figures. So supply, demand. And the world's changing. Everybody know Lowe's? Lowe's, in every one of their stores this time, sometime, is going to change how they teach people trades. Let me show you. They use this.
Education is empowerment, and people learn by doing. It's just how we are built. And that's why we built the Hollow Room How-To. The Hollow Room How-To is a virtual reality training tool that teaches people how to do DIY projects when they want to learn. Anything from painting a fence to tiling a bathroom, you actually are grabbing tile.
Now, cool, would you do it?
It feels like
You can do drywall, tiling, fencing, painting.
Lowe's has been using virtual and augmented.
Let's see the numbers.
The Hollow Room How-To project takes us even further. We did an A/B test, and half of the customers went through the virtual reality Hollow Room How-To, and then the other half just watched a YouTube video. Customers who went through the virtual reality version had 36% better recall.
Wow. So what's happening here? Well, what we're doing at our schools in Virginia, and it's happening everywhere now, is we're trying to add as much digital into every coursework to prepare for the next round of very highly skilled jobs. To get students used to how everything is changing. So for example, when we dissect a pig at our community college, this is what it looks like. You actually can do everything with your controllers. You're not just looking. And And by the way, if you come back later today around 2:30, I'm going to be doing a whole set on what we're doing in VR today in the same room. So now, we're trying to get students used to this realm because so many jobs, 30,000 companies in the US are putting virtual reality in their way of doing things at work. So all this will be super important. And it's not just things like dissecting pigs. We're even doing art this way. Digital arts is hiring like crazy. When I say STEM, I really mean STEAM. Science, technology, engineering, the digital arts, and mathematics. Design clothing, understanding, touching, seeing. That helps so well. And it's not just this environment here. We're now seeing that almost half of what we do at work could be automated by 2055. I know what you're thinking. Okay, 2055. Yeah, I don't have to worry about that. But your students that you just saw yesterday do. They want to be raising their kids, grandkids one day. I know they're not even thinking about that. But you know how it rolls. Life goes by quickly. Do they have the skill set to continue on? Now, let's just kind of look. Here's some of those popular majors in the country. They're all fascinating, but some of them have up to an 80% unemployability upon graduation. You say, but why? Well, animal science. By the way, animal science is a great degree, but we have 8 times as many small vets for small animals than we have jobs. No matter what you're going into, maybe we should kind of look at who's hiring, who's not. And really, these fields could actually be very hireable with a little bit of change in direction. Let me give you an example. Instead of going into small veterinary science, go into the dead animals. You say, excuse me? Food science. Do you know food science is hiring like crazy, like at a poultry plant? At a food safety plant, starting at 6 figures. And guess what? The degrees are almost identical as being a small animal vet. So just changing things, and as instructors, what do we need to be doing? Make sure we're changing according to the pathways as employability changes. Let's speak about my gender for a moment. Ladies, we outlive our male counterparts by 7 years. Yes. Now I know a lot of you men are thinking, because they kill us. We'll go with that. But does that mean we need to make more money during our lives to support our love of our life? And we have a much higher odd of being head of household in this life. So how are we doing? Let's see. My favorite moment.
I'm really passionate about climate change. I'm worried that there won't be enough fresh water for everybody. I want to make sure that we're able to have a self-sustaining environment. My interest is to find a cure for breast cancer because my mom had it.
These are 6th grade girls. Remember we said they start out into science, into math, all these great things? Something changes. If they could see and touch, you're starting to see them use holograms and VR and all these things now in school. Because if you can see it, you can do it. Conceptualizing can be tough.
Seeing stuff like this, I think I want to be able to help do that. It makes you feel like unstoppable.
Everybody look at my screen right now. If a lot of jobs are coming out in STEAM, what is my gender's representation? Let's look right now.
That makes no sense to me. Like, why would that be? There's always going to be someone that says, like, no, you can't do it. I think I can. We're as amazing as men. Like, we can do as much stuff as they can. I want my name to be there to be like, Marley was the one who can help stop this climate change issue. I will discover a cure for breast cancer.
I hope she does.
Hands on deck right now.
So let's think about this. You think, maybe, Corinne, no one would ever probably say it, but maybe there's that thought going on out there somewhere that says, maybe women just aren't as good at the fields that are hiring right now. I'm going to call you know what on that. Let me explain. of high school valedictorians in our country are women. We do okay. 60% of community college students today are women. So shouldn't 60% of STEM majors with all the jobs be women? What was it? 6.7. What happens is, and they've studied this a lot, is women are just as interested in the field. But think about it. They did an experiment with both genders. Imagine right here that we have a microscope. And we have broken teams into 3 women, 3 men on each team. A team of 6. When we give them an experiment to go do with the setup right here, 90% of the time, the young man would walk up and start the experiment. Get the microscope ready, get everything. And the young ladies, for the most part, stood where? On the edge. Why? Well, think about it. From a very young age, we're constantly being compared. Are we pretty enough? Are you all these things enough? And there's a little bit knock on the self-confidence. Let me ask teachers in here a question and you'll understand. We all get evaluated by students. You probably got 99% very kind comments. Which one is stuck in your head? The negative. Believe me, as women, we all get that. When you're in a science class or math class, there's an answer that's only correct. The answer is 7 people. But if you're in a psychology class and you have a great thought, you're validated. What a great idea. I never thought of it that way. I would value that. But back to that math class, the answer is still 7. Otherwise, you are wrong. So a lot of times, the young ladies get just as high scores, but they remember the wrong. By high school, women no longer are interested in going into STEM, for the most part, because they just don't want to go into a realm that's constantly wrong. So what are the jobs today, and how can we change that trend? Everybody grab your smartphones real quick. I want you to look up something on your own, or a computer will work. Anything you've got going on. Could everybody Google the phrases at the top? Or you could Bing it, which stands for, but it's not Google. Oh no, that's not right. Okay, so let's look up the Glassdoor top 50 jobs in America. Let's find out who is hiring. Because making sure that the students know what that looks like will be invaluable. So 50 best jobs in America, Glassdoor 2019. Everybody have this? You might want to write it down for later. Glassdoor top 50 jobs in America 2019. Let me head there. Once again, Glassdoor top 50 jobs in America 2019. If you go to the Glassdoor website, it should look like this. Now, let's kind of look at this. Most of these jobs weren't barely around even just a few years ago. The #1 job in the country, which pays 6 figures and that's hiring like crazy, is called a data scientist. You see, what is that? It's a person who figures out what the next big trend in business is. Look at this, nursing manager, marketing manager, occupational therapist. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you something. All 50 of these have something in common. They're all STEM. Guess who's hiring? Science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. And you say, yeah, Corinne, no. Don't you understand? A lot of students aren't good at that. I don't think that's fully correct. You say, no. You either think with one side of your brain and you're artsy, or you think with the other side of the brain and you're mathematical. Do you not understand? Today in STEM, a lot of these jobs, like a UX designer, is a person who designs layout and makes sense of it all, makes it fluid. You need an artistic background. We need to bring all qualities to the table. So now, if they have this deal, let me tell you a little bit of my own personal history, which I rarely share, but it makes sense to the topic, and you'll understand why I'm so passionate about it. I'm the youngest of 9 children, for real. I grew up in Miami, Florida. I'm bilingual. My mother has a 3rd grade education at best. She does not read. We have one thing in common with all of my 8 siblings. We all have the same mother, but we all have different fathers. My mom liked men. I never know a nice way to say that. And my mother liked all kinds of men. We are all different colors. Really. You name a nationality, I got a sibling. Which is a good thing in my family. We're the United Nations of dinner. Being the youngest, I think I had an interesting perspective. I have to tell you, sometimes my siblings of color were not treated the same as I was. I saw it every day. By teachers, by our community. By the time I'm in 9th grade, 3 of my siblings are in the federal penitentiary. When you're on free lunch, there's not a lot of opportunities always out there. And I remember they opened this beautiful art museum in my city of Miami. But I wanted to go so badly, but I didn't have that kind of money. My mother went, "You've got to be kidding." But on Fridays, one day a month from 4 to 5 p.m., they let the kids in the neighborhood come in if they behaved. I was there every time. I had never seen a Degas, a Van Gogh. I even saw Michelangelo. It was really amazing. So in 9th grade, when the guidance counselor asked me, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" I knew. Art docent. She never heard that in my inner city school. She told everybody in the school she's going to be an art docent. I went home to my streetwise mother. And I said, "Mom, we all think I should be an art docent. 3rd grade education." She said, "Hell no. Sorry." Mom didn't know a lot of vocabulary. She said, "Here's the deal." She said, "I am not very bright, but that is a volunteer position. And if you want to go do the passions of your life, you need to understand something. You better have a good job to support you doing that. If you want to go in all those museums," and I have dragged my family, pretty much against their will, to almost every art museum here. Everywhere. Why? I love it. I'm passionate about it. But now I'm in a field that I help with the arts. I donate money to children in the arts. I love it. But sometimes not all passions are hireable. So what's going on here? Let me show you a couple of things that pull into play here. Maybe something bigger is going on. People much smarter than I am think that 2019 is the start of something called the 4th Industrial Revolution. You say, what? No, there's been moments in our American history that jobs changed and where they were located changed. Let me give you an example. In the 1790s, it was called the First Industrial Revolution. We had railroads, cotton gins, people moved around. Our nation expanded. And now, maybe the same thing is happening. We saw the first industrial revolution in the 1790s, but 1890s we saw the second. It was manufacturing. Where people worked and what they did totally moved into the cities, changed everything. The third industrial revolution was actually 1970. It's called computers. And it changes how and what we do, all of us. How about if 2019 is truly the start of the 4th? Why does that matter? The have and the have-nots will not only be discussing money, but we'll be discussing what highly skilled jobs are available. As the middle class disappears, and only those who have a strong background in science and technology, digital arts and mathematics get some of these really good paying jobs. So if our country is to be prepared, remember that list I just showed you of the 50 top jobs? In our country, if you add up all the students who are presently in college anywhere in the States right now, they only add up to about 2% are majoring in the top 50 jobs in the country. But countries like South Korea, like China, like Russia, those who are attending the university, it's almost 40% are majoring in that top 50 jobs. Do you see a difference?